Hey, welcome back to the Drip Warriors YouTube channel, episode 3. You know who we are. My name is KryptoKnight, aka Drip to Wealth, and I am joined with my partners in crime, Mike the Crypto Cuban. How you doing today?
Greetings, Drip fam. Feeling good today. We got a kick-ass episode today, man. I'm so excited.
Woo! Who else we got? We got your favorite uncle in the space, Uncle Rick. What's cracking today?
Man, I was just about to say that. What's cracking? What up? What it do? I'm ready.
Life is good. Great minds think alike. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special episode today. We got a big week coming up, February 22nd. DripX launches. So everyone should be asking themselves, what about Drip? So we're not just going to answer that question for you. We've got a special guest in the backstage, and he's going to tell you about DripX and then at some point mention to you, what about Drip? So should we bring this guy in?
Let's do it. He's a celebrity.
What up, Matt? What up?
What up? What up? Welcome, bro.
What's up, gents? Mike, KK, Uncle Rick. What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me.
Life is good, man. We got the man with the plan in the building. Life is really good. I'm going to tell you this. I've got like one more big bet left in DeFi, and I want to hear why I should bet on DripX. But don't answer that question yet. Let's just save that one. Mike is going to find out more about DripX.
Yep. Let's do it, man. So, you know, the drippers never say die, man. That's just like our motto. It's immortal. And for some reason, people want to build for it. So we're interested to find out, why do you specifically want to build for Drip? What's your motivation? What's your inspiration for that?
Well, you know, it's a culmination of things, just kind of, you know, over time, you know, being an investor of Drip. So I guess, you know, the origin story started there. You know, I was a day one dripper. I was lucky enough to get into the pre-sale of Drip. It really, you know, changed my lifestyle. That was probably, you know, today I'll probably say that's one of my biggest crypto wins. You know, it allowed me to pretty much live off of crypto for over a year and a half. You know, Drip being my main source of income. So, you know, that was beautiful. You know, with that, you know, I wanted to, you know, tell people what I was into. You know, I built up, had a little team that I was, you know, sharing, and we were doing airdrops and engaging and stuff like that. So building community was important for me. And then, you know, getting with my partner, Eric, who's also a co-founder of, you know, DripX, us being local to each other, we wanted to come out with our own projects. And, you know, we got into the developer side of things. So we always took inspiration from Drip. We like the ROI style platform. We saw the benefits that it has. And over time, you know, Drip has shown its resilience, you know, how strong it is. Like you said, drippers never die. I mean, this thing has been out for, you know, over 2 years now. It had its up and down, but we're still here to talk about it. And so, you know, we drew off of that inspiration and wanted to create our own projects, our own platform. And, you know, over time, we've had our successes. Of course, you know, being new to anything in the space, you have to build up your reputation, your trust, you know, so we've established that. And, you know, it just seems like we have created a community, most of which people are, you know, somewhat involved in the Drip community. So a lot of our audience had some exposure to Drip. So as time progressed, it kind of only naturally, you know, felt right to kind of give back to, you know, our origins, kind of where we started as investors.
Excellent, man. That's amazing, dude. That's so cool that you actually had someone that was local to you that kind of shared that same passion for you in crypto, man. I think we all wish we had that.
That's it's amazing. Really, you know, it is really cool because, you know, Eric, I guess to kind of give a little bit of backstory, Eric used to have a gym that was local. We're in the Metro Atlanta area. So he had a gym at the time. This is like, you know, pre-pandemic, you know, right around like 2018, 2019. He had a powerlifting gym that was pretty popular. I had got into powerlifting, also was training a few personal training clients. So he allowed me to train in the gym. We kind of developed a friendship there. But the pandemic kind of shifted things. You know, the gym closed for a short period of time. You know, my client base is kind of, you know, dwindled off. So I was looking into other things. That's kind of how I fell into crypto, trying to find other things to, you know, make ends meet. And I actually came across Eric again, the way we rekindled, because I kind of went my separate way. You know, he was still running his business, and we kind of came back together in the drip chat. Ironically, I saw him in the drip Telegram chat. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing in this chat, man? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm in this thing. And so we were like, oh wow, that's, you know, that was kind of cool. So since then, you know, we really, you know, our friendship has gotten even stronger. We talk, you know, on a daily basis, you know, whether it's developing, you know, projects or, you know, seeing what other opportunities are in the crypto space that we want to invest in. You know, we kind of run together, you know, buy different tokens. And, you know, I don't want to see him making a 10x and I'm over on the side on the sideline. So, you know, we like to kind of run together in that regard. So it is really cool. Like, you don't really see that often, kind of have somebody, you know, especially in this space. You know, we have Telegram is so awesome because, you know, you get to talk to people across the world in different time zones. But it's rare that you have, you know, somebody who are, you know, interested in the same things local to you. So it's a really cool, you know, dynamic that we have there.
Very cool, man. And did he have a developing background, or did you have a developing background, or did you guys just kind of start with new skills to develop DripX?
I would say both of our backgrounds are more so within entrepreneurship. You know, he's run multiple businesses. You know, I've had some small businesses. I've kind of been an entrepreneur. I've had some sales background. So that's kind of where our skill sets have come in. He's had, you know, he's really talented in some other areas as well, like, you know, a few things like graphic design and things like that. And, you know, we kind of put our skill sets together in that regard. We complement each other well. We do have a developer that we work with that has developed all of our projects. He's more private. He kind of keeps, you know, behind the scenes. He doesn't like the docs or anything, but he's KYC with us on a few of our projects. And we've been everything we've developed over the last 2 years has been with this one developer. So I guess you can kind of say that Eric and myself are kind of like the masterminds, the idea guys to come up with the concepts and, you know, how things work. And then we relay it back to, you know, our developer, and he kind of brings the code to life.
That's beautiful, man. That's actually kind of similar to what I have going on with Drip Marble Run. I'm the mastermind behind the game theory. I develop all the concept art, but I just pass that along to my development team, and they take it from there.
Correct.
That's amazing, man. So obviously, you know, we have DripX coming out now, February 22nd, and obviously a ton of development, a ton of thought went into that. Is there anything that you shifted or kind of refocused at the last minute before announcing the launch date?
Yeah, you know, there's always things when it comes to development. A lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes. So there's always updates. Even, you know, even now we're working on things come up where maybe it doesn't quite go as planned as you would like it. So you need to be able to pivot. And that's just, you know, that's a tribute to the crypto space in general. You know, things don't always go as smooth as you plan. So you have to be able to adapt and adjust, you know, otherwise you'll get left behind. So no different within, you know, the crypto space, within developing for the project. There's things that comes up, you know, coding, you know, I you know, I understand a little bit, but I don't, you know, really have an expertise in it. So there's certain things that when you code, it comes up and maybe the function doesn't work properly. So, you know, those things come up and we have to be able to adjust. We say, okay, well, that's not working the way we want it to. How can we, you know, tweak it? What's given the issue? What's the bottleneck, you know, that we can solve? And so that, you know, those things come up, you know, they come up within the development process, and that comes sometimes shift the dates. So I know, especially in the drip community, you know, we've been privy to that. You know, we've had dates that have been promised and things like that.
Right.
And, you know, it doesn't always come to fruition, which I can kind of, you know, being on the different side of things, I understand that. So it doesn't always happen the way that you want to. Sometimes, you know, that date has to get pushed back. But, you know, on the flip side, we try our best to, you know, give a timeline that can meet the expectations of the community. So, you know, I can see both sides, being an investor and, you know, wanting things right now. That's you know, the community wants it right now, today, right? If we
when, man,
yeah,
that's all anybody wants to know.
Exactly. So, you know, sometimes you feel that pressure as a developer, but you have to you grow to understand that's just kind of like the nature of the beast. So you don't let, after a while, you don't let those things get to you. You just kind of, want to present it once it's ready. You try your best to, provide a time, a date for the community to meet that expectation, that deadline. But, if it doesn't, ultimately you want to make sure that things run smoothly. I've been a part of launches that didn't run as smoothly, and we wish that we would have maybe tested it a little longer or pushed things back. So, you have that yin and yang, that perfect balance that you have to have. But that's just a little insight, I guess you can say, from a developer standpoint, and just some of the things that happen behind the scenes in order to ultimately deliver the final product to the community.
Excellent, man. Rick, did you want to take over?
Hell yeah, I want to take over. All right, man. First of all, what's good down there in the A-Town?
Man, it's lovely right here, man. It's been a little wet, rainy, so I've been kind of sticking close to the house the last couple of days. But man, it's been lovely. It was kicking back, watching the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was a good game to watch. Won a little money on Prize Picks.
Nice.
But yeah, that was fun. But other than
Who did
that,
you have winning that game?
It's funny. I didn't really have a preference, but I don't know if you ever watched a game and you don't really know who you're going for, but then like something happens and you're like, oh, you react to it and you're like, am I going for this team?
Well, and then when you start betting on it, that definitely drives you in a certain direction.
Yeah. So I actually had Prize Picks is kind of like a daily fantasy betting app. So you more so bet on the players versus the outcome of the game. So I was kind of neutral in that regard, but I guess I had a feeling that the Chiefs might pull it off. That was kind of my gut feeling.
So you're a Swiftie, is what you're saying.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Stop recording. We're done. We're done.
Yeah.
Hold the man card.
So I was more so Ice Spice. Ice Spice was at the game.
All I gotta say,
right on.
But yeah, things are going good down here in ATL for sure.
That's good. That's good. I'll say this: once DripX makes me a millionaire, I'm coming down there. We're getting some barbecue. I'm ready.
There you go.
I'm always up for some good barbecue.
There we go. So I'm going to circle back to DripX, and we're going to get to something that a lot of people are asking about in the chats, and I know I've talked to many people about this, and it's the importance of getting in on DripX on day one. So I'd like for you to share just a little bit of your thoughts on why it's important for people to get in on day one, minute one, if possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, again, that's more of a broader scope perspective that you should look at, for that answer. Of course, with DeFi, different projects, sometimes these projects have, expiration dates. Things don't last forever, right? With the crypto space, same thing with Bitcoin. It makes sense earlier to get, you made more money if you got in 2012 than if you got in 2019, right? So that's kind of how crypto in general works. You want to be an early adopter. That way you see the most gains. Myself being in Drip, being in the pre-sale, I was able to see the most gains from it. Some people weren't as fortunate. They may have gotten in a little later date, maybe at a higher time, a different shift in the, in the markets, and so maybe they bought at a higher price. And you want to get in early. The earlier that you're able to get into a project or a crypto, then you have a better opportunity to see the most gains. So that's going to be the same thing within DripX. The people who get in early will have a better opportunity to potentially get some price appreciation versus someone who comes in maybe a little later.
I've seen some of your videos and I've seen in the chats, and it's no secret that I have an affinity, if not an addiction, for Wrap Drip. And I've seen you talk about, the benefits that DripX will have on Wrap Drip. So, off screen, we talked a little bit about sports and stuff. So there's still a lot of people who aren't wrapping their OG drip, right?
Yeah.
So, and it, for those who caught episode 2, my new motto, I guess, that I put out there is "rap your shit," right? So I need you to give like the last minute pep talk. Like the coach getting the team fired up before they get out on the field and they go out there and just destroy. Like our Rudy moment when Rudy gets a sack. Like, tell us one last minute speech on why people should wrap their drip.
Well, bring it on in, team. Bring it on in.
Yes.
No, but seriously, wrap drip is a really it's a fresh opportunity. It's a brand new start. This is a token that has only been on the blockchain for a few months now. It gives us a new opportunity, kind of a new just like a new ground floor for drip. What it allows us to do is kind of separate ourselves from some of the taxes that is associated with drip. This is what makes it very difficult for people to develop on drip. There's a 10% tax on drip. Everybody's familiar with the developer of drip, Forex. He controls those taxes. So there's certain things, projects when you develop on that you aren't able to kind of work around because of that tax, which is why that we decided to use wrap drip. Now, because we're going to be leveraging wrap drip, that allows you to move it freely without being taxed, after you wrap it, of course. And then we're going to be providing a lot of liquidity into wrap drip via the miners. So DripX is going to be leveraging BNB to buy a lot of wrap drip. So this is a really good opportunity because the token is so new and it has low liquidity, that when we start to add BNB, adding more liquidity, strengthening the actual value of wrap drip, then there's going to be there's a lot of potential for a lot of gains. Wrap drip could pump. They're going to say, hey, I can wrap my drip tokens for this price. So that's going to create arbitrage opportunities. So this is an opportunity for people to be able to get in on that right now as a ground floor. I would say wrap drip is essentially kind of like a pre-sale token. So you can leverage that to basically be in the pre-sale of DripX. Now DripX is going to be a fair launch. We're gonna push it out, and everybody will have a same opportunity to get in at the same time. But for those people who have wrap drip, you're gonna see the most, the most price appreciation from people who are creating miners. That BNB being funneled into wrap drip. Also, if you are providing liquidity to wrap drip, all those transaction fees that you'll be able to earn from. So this is a really good opportunity. We just talked about getting in early. So if you're somebody that wants to prepare, getting a little bit of wrap drip is how you prepare for that, so that you get in early and get the most price appreciation from the project.
Yes, sir. I mean, listen, I have been stacking and packing my wrap drip bags for, I don't know, it feels like forever. I love this wrap drip. And, now that I have you on here, you made me think of a follow-up question that I really want to ask you about wrap drip. I've seen some people in the chats mention some concerns that they have over the wrap drip contract. Mm-hmm. And one of my responses has always been, if there was any concerns, DripX would not be building using wrap drip. So I just wanted to get your feedback on, have you seen people question the wrap drip contract, and what is your thoughts on, answering any or addressing any of those concerns?
I haven't seen too much concern over the wrap drip contract in general in regards to the actual contract. I do have, a bit of a relationship with the developer of wrap drip. We've actually got on, voice call once before. A lot of people may be familiar with Quinn. Yeah, that's the developer of AI Drip. Some level of communication, some level of trust in that regard, where we've been able to communicate. We're actually on a call because we were kind of brainstorming, and I don't know if Quinn had this idea prior to this call, but he had actually brought up the idea of wrap drip. Because we were talking about maybe leveraging a game or so on on the kitchen sink, and we talked about how it's difficult with with Drip, and he had brought up ideas. And well, there's this thing I could do with wDrip, and and then because he has had some other projects and developments that have done well, so that's kind of where my trust lies. But with being in crypto, with being in DeFi, you always want to do your own research. Some people might have the same level of questions with with some of the projects that I've developed. So just being on these type of interviews, talking with people, being face to face, and just kind of answering some of those questions allows people to make a decision whether they want to invest in it or not. So that's what it ultimately comes down to. It's like once you've done the research, once you have the information, is what you decide to do with the information. Do you feel like these people are trustworthy, or do you say, maybe not, I'll pass on it? So that's kind of what I have to say in that regard. We've obviously put our trust in wDrip, and so we have confidence in that regard.
No, that's a great answer, and I honestly think that will ease some people's concerns and stuff. So before I let KK get on and rock the mic, I got one more question for you. So circling back to day one, now you've mentioned before that DripX will be released. The token will be released on the first day. The same with the miners being available and stuff. So my question is this: what will be the benefits of staking DripX on day one?
So that's a really good question. And there's some game theory that goes within this, because DripX is rather complex in the different ways that you can earn, and so everyone will have a different strategy and different ways that they may want to earn. One of which is staking. So we strategically created miners to expire. The first expiration date that you can have is 8 days. So that goes back to the staking payouts. The first staking payout is within 8 days also. So if you're creating a short-term miner that expires in 8 days, then you're going to miss out on that first 8-day payout. So anybody who's getting in early and creating miners won't be able to receive the BNB from the first 8-day payout, which in turn gives opportunity to people who have wDrip to be able to buy DripX once the token launches, and then you can take that DripX and be able to stake it, and that way you'll be an early participant in that first 8-day payout. That first 8-day payout is going to be, it's going to be a lot of BNB pulled in there, because again, people are going to be looking to get in early, get that early opportunity that we talked about. So a lot of BNB will be flowing into the payout cycles. So that first 8-day payout will be, a good payout to be a part of, and it can only be accessed from the people who are buying DripX at launch and then staking their DripX tokens to be a part of the staking pool. So that's going to be a huge benefit in that regard as well. The way that the staking works is that you receive shares. So the faster that you're in, the longer that you stake, the more that you stake, the more shares that you get. So it makes sense for people to try to get into the staking pool early to get the most shares as possible as well.
Man, I can't wait. I honestly have 5.
I'm sold, man.
plays.
I'm sold.
I have 5 different plays ready for DripX launch. Like, that's how fired up I am. I might not sleep for days. I'm gonna have caffeine, maybe some crack. Like, I'm ready for this. All right, KK, get on in.
So thanks for my team making sure that my avatar was showing and not my face. So appreciate. What just happened?
I was going to ask you. Your body language was showing like you didn't know your camera was on, but I didn't be the one to burst your bubble.
Okay, for everybody listening, if you're ever out with Mike the Crypto Cuban and Uncle Rick, and you have food in your teeth, they're not going to let you know. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I have my avatar shown because I sit here naked while we're doing this. So, I'm already ready for this. Let's go.
No, hey, that's the joys of actually going live and getting your reps in. Things happen, so I appreciate you guys. Matt, look, brother, much like Mike and Uncle Rick, I am excited. And I think I talked to you about this off camera once before. I've made some bets in DeFi, and they just did not meet or exceed expectation. In fact, I lost some serious bread. And I am also excited about DripX launched because one, it goes back to trust. And there's really only two devs in this space that I really trust with some serious coin, and you're one of them. So yeah, I'm really excited because I'm bullish on DripX for sure. So let me mention that complete transparency. I'm also a participant in Titan X. And one of the challenges for that protocol recently has been inflation,
Mhm.
right? So I know that you guys have built in a mechanism to help manage inflation. Can you share what that is and how you guys plan to address that?
Yeah, so you have to understand that the way that this protocol works is through inflation. So
Yeah.
the protocol has a heavy inflation method with the amount of, I guess APR that you'll be able to get by creating miners. So there is an inflation mechanism. So there's high yields within the system, and that's how the system works. There is a buy and burn pool, and as well as the staking, which kind of helps to work against some of the inflation. So the buy and burn pool basically is it's like a method of delayed gratification. So the BNB that goes into the pool that would essentially be buying DripX. I guess the path to do that, the route to do that is it'll buy wrap drip, and then that wrap drip will then in turn buy DripX. Now, rather than this happening all at once, creating a huge price spike, because when that happens,
Yeah.
what we've seen is the community wants to take that profit, right? They
For
see
sure.
that huge surge, and then right after that, there's a big dip, right? So we don't want that to happen right away. We want it to be more gradual. So what happens is that BNB, majority of it is being pooled. Around 67% of the BNB used to create miners is going to be pooled to basically buy and burn DripX over time. So what happens is once that inflation comes out, that inflation of tokens, some people will choose to sell it, which is totally fine. Some people will choose to stake it and then earn BNB. What the staking does, it takes those tokens off the market for the period that they're staked. We incentivize people to stake for longer periods of time, so that way those tokens are off the market for that period of time. Excuse me. It'll go up to 3,500 days, which essentially is kind of like burning the tokens, you can say. So that's one way to kind of combat that. And then as well, we talked about the buy and burn pool. So over time, small increments will be supporting the price of the tokens that are coming into circulation. And the idea is to kind of find a sweet spot where the token price kind of levels out based on the amount of tokens that are coming into circulation and the buy and burn pool that's used to support it. So that's kind of how the system works in regards to inflation, and kind of how we combat it with the buy and burn pool and the staking mechanisms.
Sweet. And then I also noticed that for those that are choosing to mint, that there's actually a cap on daily minting.
That's right. Yeah, that is something that we implemented. So we did implement a cap. So it's one thing that we saw with Titan X, for instance. Certain days, people have like certain dates in mind, like 30 days, 90 days, just kind of, particular days that are, I guess, common amongst the users. And so what we saw within certain periods of time, there was a lot of tokens that came out in circulation. So what we wanted to do was combat that a little bit, which will again kind of help with the tokens coming out in supply at any given date, is creating a cap at that time. So basically what that looks like is when you create your miners, if there is a date, let's say 30 days, if there are too many tokens coming out into circulation on that day 30, then you'll need to select another date to be able for your miner to expire and receive those tokens. So that's another good point that it slipped my mind for a second, but that's another good point that you brought up, KK. It's something that we did a little bit differently to be able to kind of control the amount of inflation on any given date.
Totally. Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work, because I want people to really understand how the protocol works and what distinguishes you from the competition, if you will. Right. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of things are inspired by things in the past. It's almost a compliment when someone takes something that they've seen and modifies it to improve it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll even go further to say even Titan X drew inspiration from other projects as well, like Hex, the Hex staking model, Zen. So it's not even just us, drawing inspiration from Titan X, but it's kind of the evolution of like the DeFi space and how things work. We see things that may have had some success in the past. You may like that. You might want to build on top of that. You may want to do things a little differently. And that's kind of what we've been able to do as a team. We've been able to take inspiration from different things, and then we make it our own. And sometimes those things are a little different. One thing that we've been getting, with Titan X, because Titan X has had some early success. A lot of people want to duplicate that success, and they expect for you to maybe follow it, step by step, how that success was duplicated.
Got it.
So, for us, we're like, yeah, this is an inspiration, but we're not Titan X. We don't even look at it as a competition with Titan X.
Agreed.
It's a totally different user base, a totally different blockchain. The Ethereum chain has different investors, has a different appetite of investors. So our success isn't based on what Titan X has done. We like some of the things that they implemented, and we liked how that could potentially help the Drip community. And so that's kind of what we've drawn our inspiration from. And within that, we said, if we could do a couple of things a little differently, what could we implement it to, possibly improve on it? And that's kind of, how we came upon, DripX. So it's not a one-to-one fork, of
No.
Titan X. There's a lot of other people who are, creating projects to build on top of Titan X. We're not necessarily looking to do, those projects. That's another thing. Are you guys going to be, doing this, these projects also? So, I guess the short answer is no. We're not looking to, copy step by step everything that's happened in the Titan X ecosystem.
Yeah.
But again, we saw some success with it, and we saw that it could be a great opportunity to build on DripX, kind of a layer 2 on Drip. And we're looking forward to the excitement that it could bring, the potential success it could bring, and then from there, just seeing what other avenues it'll present to develop on in the future.
Man, that's good, Matt. And it actually, your response made me think of something else, which is it goes back to the inflation challenge again around the inflation, is that within the other ecosystem, it was almost necessary to build additional protocols to kind of eat up the inflation in order for it to continue to be sustainable. And in your example, you're saying we're not really going to follow that model where it's necessary for us to build these incremental protocols, either in-house or expectations from the community. So without the incremental protocols, you still feel pretty confident that DripX can be sustainable with just the buy and burn and limiting and minting?
Yeah, so I guess how I can word it in a way, it's not that the project needed these projects to build on top of it. And my perspective of Titan X is the APRs got a little lower, to the point where the people creating fresh miners with ETH slowed down. So there wasn't as much money coming into the ecosystem, right? So the more people are, making gains and putting more money into the system, it's kind of balance itself, right? So with my experience with Titan X, because I'm also invested in Titan X as well, I didn't get in on day one. So again, some people made a little bit more gains than maybe I have. So I came into the aspect of staking, and I also did miners. So, what happened with my staking, when the new protocol came out, they basically became a well within the staking pool, which kind of ate up my stakes. So, that was something, where I feel like as an investor in that regard, that kind of put a unfair advantage, for that protocol versus an average user. So that's something that, I wouldn't want to, duplicate as someone who's trying to stake, putting in their DripX and staking it to earn BNB. And then we duplicate a process where another protocol basically eats up those stakes. So that's kind of what I mean by not necessarily following in, the step-by-step footsteps of, everything that's happening with TitanX. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't develop new things on DripX as time comes. So that's kind of what I guess I mean in that regard. And again, there is going to be inflation. That's no way around it. That's how the project works. So you have to understand again how the project works. There is going to be high yield. With that high yield, there's going to be inflation. But the idea is to continue to create a project, an environment where people want to continue to feed the system, the ecosystem. People are earning high yield, they're taking profits, and they say, hey man, these profits are good, I want to keep this going. They're reinvesting some of the funds that they've created, some of the profits that they've created. They're going back into the system, they're feeding the ecosystem. And then overall, over time, what happens is those APRs become a little bit more sustainable. The buy and burn hopefully regulates the price, so that way we can find an equal balance. So the balance kind of happens over time. So early on in the protocol, there is going to be inflation. There's no way around that, right? So it's just a matter of setting expectations and just understanding how the project works. And then once you have that understanding, then you can develop better strategies based on expectations. So setting the right expectations is key within crypto. It's like any relationship, with your significant other, right?
Right.
They expect you to take out the trash, and you take out the trash. If you don't, then there's a problem, right? But if you didn't know you weren't supposed to take out the trash, then the expectations weren't there, right? So that's kind of where a lot of issues come up, within life, just setting the right expectations.
1,000%. So let's do this, because there's one other item in the white paper that people are curious about, and it's the Genesis Fund. What's the expectation with the Genesis Fund?
There should be no expectation of the Genesis Fund. So
See,
basically,
that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Basically, that's again, what we're doing is the BNB that comes through the miners, we're allocating it in different areas for to pay out to continue to buy back the token with the buy and burn, to pay out the stakers. And then we allocated a certain percentage basically for like the dev team for continued development. So there's not necessarily expectation on that fund, but that's the fund that we continue to use to develop new things, right? Or to do community initiatives, giveaways, stuff like that.
Marketing,
different marketing, those type of things. So we say there's not an expectation on that, but essentially that's kind of how the team is able to continue to develop and create these projects. We're in a position right now. A lot of people don't realize this. Mike may understand this from a standpoint because he has a project that he's working on, but these things cost money, right? That's why you have pre-sales and things of that nature to cover things like audits, provide liquidity, things of that nature. And in this instance, we're not asking the community for any of this. This is all money that we are leveraging as a team to create the project, to provide the initial liquidity, to pay for audits, marketing and so forth. So with that, that money doesn't just, come out of thin air, right? So,
right.
We're leveraging the Genesis wallet in the future to be able to continue to come out with projects like that, and continue to build on top of, the ecosystem that we have.
No, see, and that's good, because then it kind of segues into the next follow-up question, which is build for the future. Do you guys have anything in the pipeline for DripX?
So we have ideas, nothing that is 100% solid.
Yeah.
And I say that because I don't want to, I guess, put too much information out there that may or may not, come to light. Right? We do have
See, he
ideas.
doesn't. He doesn't. He didn't get the memo, Rick and Mike. He's supposed to drop all the alpha.
I'm supposed to drop that.
Give us everything, bro.
That's supposed to be the alpha drop, right?
There goes
Yeah.
our YouTube short on our subscribers. You just tanked our channel.
But things.
I get it, Matt. I get it, brother.
Truthfully, things happen so fast within the space. If you would have asked us maybe 2 or 3 months ago if we were going to even develop DripX, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that DripX was going to be a thing. So that's kind of how fast that this space moves. We do have some ideas, but those ideas may change after launch. So that kind of goes in with how the space moves and being able to pivot and things like that. But we have some ideas, but nothing too solid yet.
No, I get it. That makes total sense, my friend. Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that we at least ask for those people who are curious, because when I think about what you've done with some of the other ecosystems, you just didn't really release one product and forget about it. You're really building an ecosystem, which led to, hey, is there any future utility for DripX? My guess is there probably is, but to your point, it can change at a moment's notice. All right, so let's get to one of the more interesting questions for people who are really narrowly focused on the money. I know price predictions are like taboo in this space, so let me frame it slightly different. Do you believe, aka foresee, DripX price losing 1 to 2 zeros?
Oh, for sure. We'll definitely kill the
He said, "Oh, for sure, baby."
That's an alpha drop right there for sure.
Yeah, that goes without doubt for sure. We don't have an exact price on the token. It is going to be an inexpensive token, so it's going to probably have 3 or 4 zeros before a digit. But I definitely expect it to kill maybe 1 or 2 zeros at launch for sure.
I told you.
Right
Cue the porn
on.
music. I'm ready.
So anybody looking for a Lambo, 1 to 2 zeros, you got to do the math on a napkin for yourself. Okay, Wen Lambo, 1 to 2 zeros. Do your own math. Right on, Matt. I appreciate you.
And again, that's gonna these first 8 days are gonna be crucial because we talked about inflation, right? So for the first 8 days, there's not going to be any inflation, right? There's not going to be any
for sure.
Tokens coming out. So there's going to be an 8-day period that kind of we can kind of regulate that the price. Some people are going to be buying and selling, for sure. But that first 8-day period, a lot of people are going to be taking their drip, wrapping it, taking that wrap drip, buying DripX, staking it, trading it. So there's going to be a lot of volume there, and I'm definitely confident that it'll kill a zero. Or maybe even 2.
Love it. 1 to 2 zeros drop, baby.
Hey, KK, before we move on, I wanted to follow up with something you just asked, Matt. So Matt, KK asked about future utility and stuff, and I know, and this is a shameless plug here. In our Drip Warriors DAO, we are discussing different ways that we would like to include the DripX token and some of the utilities that we're currently developing. So my question is, would you support any other apps that are actively trying to help reduce the DripX token price or supply?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely open to that, for sure. There's opportunity to develop on DripX. So anybody has that, same opportunity. There's also Wrap Drip. Just by the people developing on Wrap Drip, if that helps support the price of Wrap Drip, that inherently also supports DripX. So, we're definitely open to those things, and if it makes sense for us to kind of share that with the community, then we're open for that for sure.
Sweet. Well, let you catch your breath for a second. No, I think we touched on the hot topics we wanted to touch on with with DripX and stuff. And I know you've put out some videos and stuff on different aspects. And so I feel like, we cover things that we've seen a lot of drippers want to know. So I think we're good, in my opinion.
Sweet. So then we can segue into post drip. Okay, that works.
Hell yeah, I'm ready.